What other toxins do we have to worry about? Kind of alluded to environmental toxins, but if we take this back a step to, in utero, let's go through some ages and stages. So mom's pregnant now, and she's thinking about delivering the healthiest possible child. You've written the book, Healthy Kids, Unhealthy World, Living in an Unhealthy World, how to navigate all of this stuff. And I'm sure you start sort of prenatally here with some advice.
Yeah.
What's the top advice you can give?
I wish that pediatricians would start seeing moms prenatally. Because we see them after they're born. But so much happens in utero. OB-GYNs, they are taught to teach moms don't eat raw seafood, don't eat cold cuts, don't smoke, drink alcohol. And then it's like, we're good. And, I had 2 kids in residency. Not once did anybody go, how's your stress level? Not once did somebody go, so you eating cafeteria food? But I want to go back to Canada, because Canada has given us a couple of studies in the prenatal time with one fabulous, the ice storm of 1998. And there was a beautiful study done that followed moms that were in the Great Canada ice storm of 98. It was about 300,000, don't quote me, 300,000 to 400,000 pregnant moms that were displaced. And what they did is they looked at the moms that were displaced by the ice storm in Canada, compared them to pregnant moms in Canada who were not displaced by the ice storm. They followed them out for 15 years. And what they found is that the moms who were displaced and they were pregnant, their children had higher rates of eczema, asthma, ADHD, cancer, autism, neurobehavioral stuff. And the list goes on, speaking to the stress during pregnancy that we very rarely talk about. So that is the Project Ice Storm, which is, I quote it all the time because you can't argue with the power and the control group being in the same country. So, and then the other study that, for a long time as a pediatrician, I hemmed and hawed over the fluoride. I didn't know which way to go with it, right? But early on, I had some questions when I would call dentists about fluoride supplementation in children on well water. And no dentist could agree with another dentist on what the recommendations were, which I found interesting. I'm like, wait, if this is so important, how come we don't have an agreement? Anyway, fast forward to 2019. And in the meantime, before we go to 2019, a lot of studies came out of China on fluoride. But the fluoride levels in the water in China were much higher than the US. So we're like, doesn't relate. I mean, we're not sure, but on. But in 2019, a study out of Canada once again comes out on fluoride. And they found that, and the fluoridation of water in Canada is about the same as in the United States. And what they found is that in moms who had a specific urine fluoride levels correlated with a child's decrease in IQ. And when a mom was, for every 1 milligram per liter of fluoride that they ingested, it was a decrease in about 3.34 IQ points. And this was more profound in boys than in girls, but a 2023 study looked at moms drinking fluoridated water at 0.7 milligrams per deciliter. You're going to have to not quote me on that one. But they showed a significant decrease in cognitive and executive function of children, especially in girls. So the moral of the story is we have 2 toxins in pregnancy. Well, we have many, but for our intents and purposes that we want to highlight is stress and fluoride. And as a pediatrician, I struggled with that fluoride situation for a long time. And I'll tell you, in 2019, I was like, okay, I really feel like I have a good, I can make a recommendation. The data is strong enough. And when I had, of course, the naysayers come in and they're like, it needs to be replicated and duplicated and blah. And I was like, that was a 5-year study. So you go ahead and you wait for 5 to 10 more years to duplicate the study while other children's neurological decline continues. And we wonder, what is this all about?
Right.
Yeah. No, the evidence is there.
Well, and the question becomes also, do we really need this? We had Dr. Moran, we had Dr. Chester Yokoyama on a previous show, both DDS as dentists. Obviously, this is their world.
Biological.
Love it, yes.
Biofocused.
Love it.
And when you see the consensus, once again, what we're dealing with is some naysayers, but by and large, the research is, coming out. And the evidence from meta-analyses, which are studies of studies and cohorts studies, are proving more and more this is affecting IQ in children, just like you said.